What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another show here on the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the show. We are excited to bring another guest on today, and this is going to be a really unique one. I'm super excited. Recording this one late night for me, but for him, it's actually the next day. We're traveling in time a little bit. We have none other than Gary Ashton from Lawns Online, and he is from the land down under. Most of you probably know of him by now. He's got another podcast, Aussie Lawn Stars. He's kind of new on the scene, just like myself. So we have kind of grown and connected on social media the past couple of weeks, and we wanted to line up. It's taken us a while to get this because, like we said, time change. The time difference is huge. It's crazy. I mean, he's 17 hours ahead of us right now with daylight savings time and everything kicking in. But it's taken a lot to get here. But I'm super excited for what we're going to go through tonight, and going to bring a lot of value to all of you out there listening. So, Gary, how you doing today, man? For you today, tonight for me.
Hey, how you going? I'm doing well. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here, and been watching the wildlife in Australia. Had a nice little water dragon run around on the lawns where I was working this afternoon.
I saw that on your Instagram.
But I got to correct you on something. When you say Aussie, you've got to say Aussie with a Z instead of Aussie.
Okay. See, that's right. Teach me the language. So it's Aussie.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you're doing good. You can be an honorary Australian then.
There we go. I like it. So Aussie Lawn Stars. That's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. Why is that? Is that just the way y'all pronounce your S's?
Oh, look, when I started the show and I got Mr. Producer to do the intro for me,
yeah,
I sent him a message as soon as he sent me the voiceover, and I said, "Hey, let's practice how to say Aussie."
Did he say Aussie like I did?
Yeah. It's a thing.
That's funny. Is it just like double S's? I mean, what is the background behind that?
Yeah, it is just double S's, but that's just, I guess, our lingo.
That's just the way you,
That's just the way you pronounce it. When we say, "G'day, mate, how you going?" We're from Aussie.
Yeah, that is funny. It is funny, the difference. We both speak English, but it's a different kind of English.
We speak the Queen's English.
Queen's English, yeah. You're more proper. You're a lot more proper than we are. Your language sounds a lot better and more professional than we are. So I love listening to Australian people talk.
We've got our own slang. We like to call a line trimmer or a weed whacker, we call it a whippersnipper. We've got our own unique Australian language.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. I had somebody else down in Australia that I was talking to a while back said whippersnipper, and I was like, what? And that's kind of become a running joke here in the U.S. between all the podcasts that people that have interviewed people from Australia. They've talked about that, about how that y'all call them whippersnippers, and it's funny because we call them all different things in our own country. We call them different things. I call it a weed eater. And then people up north call it a weed whacker, and some people just call it string trimming, and some people call it line trimming. Like everybody's got a different word for it.
If you go to the UK, they call it strimming.
Strimming. That is not. I've never heard that one before. That's a new one.
That's proper English, the Queen's English there.
Well, I have a guy lined up to get on the podcast from Britain, so or Europe over there somewhere, England. I think he's in England, but maybe he'll say that.
Very good.
Well, I'm excited for what we got today, man. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. That's a fun little intro. We talked about the differences in time zone and all that. We might circle back around to that in a little bit, just based on your day and what you had going on today. Like you said, crazy wildlife while you were out mowing and doing your property maintenance today. Well, just give us a little breakdown. First off, take us through your business and your story, your actual lawn care business, because you have the podcast now. We'll get into that a little further down the road, but tell everybody your background in the lawn care industry.
Yeah, okay. So I started in 2010, so we're talking 11 and a half years ago I started. And I was working for the insurance industry in Australia, and I had been eyeing off the lawn care industry for a couple of years. So it was a matter of timing when I wanted to make the move. I had annual leave, I had paid parental leave, and I took a 12-month career break as well. So I'd set myself up with a nice little financial package and a lot of unpaid time off as well, so that I had time to consider whether I wanted to stop lawn care. I could go back into the insurance industry if I wanted to. So yeah, that's 11 and a half years ago. I didn't go back to insurance, in case you're wondering.
I love it. So what made you decide to get into the lawn care? You said you were eyeing it. What made you go full time?
Well, I jumped straight in full time, but I bought a business off a friend.
Okay.
And when I bought that business off him, it was only about 1.5 days a week in terms of the number of customers that he had. So it was also keeping in mind another Australian thing here. We enter winter around May. So the actual winter season starts when the grass stops growing. And where I am, the grass does actually stop growing, but we don't get snow. So the 1st of May is pretty much guaranteed the grass will stop growing. And I started mowing at the beginning of April. So I had 1 month and then nothing.
Oh wow, wow, that's tough. So you had to go through the first summer or first winter for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to go through the first winter. Pretty brutal there.
Yeah. So I actually got a little bit of employed work at a local retirement village doing some groundskeeping for them
Yeah.
whilst I was waiting for my season to kick back in. And I could do all of my jobs every other Sunday and do 5 days a week working for the retirement village in between.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good way to get into it when you only have that much to stay busy. So you said you bought together. That's actually funny because I did the same thing. I actually bought my company that I own from a guy that I was working with. So and have grown it to what we are today. Nothing too crazy, but we have grown it significantly from when I bought it. So a few things we want to run through today, some topics that I want to just hop right into. I don't want to beat around the bush because I want to respect your time. You're taking time out of your day to do this. And I'm excited to bring this value to the listeners about the differences in the Australian market and in our market, but the way that we can compare them and kind of show some similarities as well. So first thing I know you brought up was wages, and this is a huge thing, the labor shortage that we're having in America right now. I think it's around the world. I don't know. I mean, I know the supply chain is messed up around the world. Are y'all having the same labor shortages as we are?
Yeah, I'm trying to find an employee as we speak. So if you know anyone who wants some work in Australia, tell them to get in contact with me. I'm really struggling to find anybody to work for me. I've got one person that is working for me. I need to replace him. And I thought I had another 4 weeks or so till he finishes up. And I've been looking for the last 3 months to try and find an employee. And he contacted me today. He said he needs to finish up as soon as possible.
Oh my goodness! So you are really well. If anybody's out there listening and wants to move to Australia, here you go. You got a good job down there waiting on you.
Yeah, well, give you a bit of an idea, the wage difference between where you are and where I am here. For me to get an employee, I need to pay at least $25 an hour. So if you're listening, move to Australia, you can be on $25 an hour minimum.
That's what you were telling me. So you're saying entry level is $25 an hour, correct?
Yeah, I could probably pay a little bit less if they're under 18, but for somebody who's 18 years old or older, then $25 an hour is the starting point. And I've paid up to $30 an hour for somebody who's able to work independently without supervision.
That's insane. I mean, the fact that you're having to pay that and get that's just an insane rate to start out at. I mean, we're paying foremen up here. I mean, everybody's different, but $22, $25 an hour, and they're running their own crews and stuff. That's a crazy thing. The differences. So, but what is your average? So, like, I know you don't do. We'll get into this here in a minute, residential and commercial, but an average residential yard. So, like, what are you charging for just like your average neighborhood lawn?
Okay, so there's a lot of variation in Australia. Where I am is probably a good indication of the average, and give you a bit of an idea of size. I'll have to convert to what works for you. So we use square meters, but if we're talking acreage sizes, the average block where I am is around 1/4 of an acre.
That's about average here.
That makes sense, yeah?
Yep.
So 1/4 acre block, I would charge between $80 and $120, depending on how complicated the block is.
So that explains why. Excuse me. I've got I got a sinus infection or something that's come on lately, and it's whipping me. But I'm trying to keep it down, the coughing down to a minimum. But that explains why you're having to pay $25, $30 an hour, because that same yard that you said, what, $80 to $100 you're charging up there, we're charging average neighborhood yard. I mean, it depends. Are y'all weekly or bi-weekly maintenance?
That's an interesting topic. So the majority of Australia is bi-weekly, but you got to use the right terminology again, the Australian terminology, or the correct English is fortnightly.
One more time. What was that?
Fortnight. So if you know the game Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite, yeah.
Fortnightly means bi-weekly. So same thing.
Really? I did not know that.
So the majority of Australia uses fortnightly mowing, and I've noticed that when people are mowing their own yards, they all mow weekly. And then if they get into it, they might mow 2 times a week. So what I've discovered is that if I encourage people to choose a premium package rather than the basic package, they go from fortnightly to weekly mowing. And when I've been doing residential work, I had up to a third of my customers on weekly mowing and trying to push more and more that way. So really following what you guys do in America with the weekly mowing.
Yeah, that's the way to do it for sure. We're still even transitioning. We're kind of in a zone where our grass doesn't grow fast enough to have to be mowed weekly. Not all of it, but up north, their turf is cool season grasses. They cut it a lot higher than we do, so it does have to be mowed weekly. But back to what I was saying about the prices is the average price for us for that yard weekly would probably be $35 to $40, maybe $45. So it does depend on. I guess it might not be that far off if you're charging 80 to 100 biweekly or fortnightly, as you said.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a difference there. So the wages. Are you having a problem getting what is your problem in the labor shortage? Is it people just don't want to work? What do you think the problem is there?
There's too many other jobs to choose from.
Oh, so everybody's going to a better job.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices, and what I've found is that if you pay less than $20 an hour or around $20 an hour, then they don't want to be doing the labouring type jobs. They want to be doing something else. So you can get somebody in an office environment for $20 an hour, but when they're doing labouring, then they don't hang around for long if you do that.
It's the same thing here. People can go to McDonald's and flip hamburgers for $15, $16, $17 an hour now. I've seen signs in the windows, so they just assume go do that in the air conditioning as opposed to going out and laboring.
Yeah, that's it. So that's the biggest thing I've found. But I think overall there is a definite labour shortage at the moment. It's just too many people have already got jobs or they don't want work, I guess.
So let's talk about it, the elephant in the room. How has COVID affected y'all down there? Up here, we're kind of coming out of it, but I've seen some crazy videos in Australia about the police and crazy lockdowns and stuff. What are you dealing with where you are?
Yeah, so I'll try and avoid getting into the political side of it because I know it gets very political quickly.
For sure.
Yeah, for me, where I am, I haven't had a problem there, and the lockdown where I am meant that I could still work.
Okay,
I had no problem working.
Yeah,
I've been able to work right through. But then I work in a environment where the company I'm working with, subcontracting to them, they have to stay open and they need the grounds maintained. Otherwise, they would get shut down.
So you're an essential worker.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's been good for me. Some of the people that are around my same area had to shut down for a little while.
Yeah.
If you go down south in Melbourne, then they got locked down a lot harder than we did. So I feel for those guys there. They really struggled.
Were there a lot of layoffs from COVID and just in labor in general, aside from the green industry? Were there because you're saying everybody's getting jobs now, so that means there's jobs available. Was there a huge layoff?
Look, there's been an interesting issue come up in Australia, and again, we're touching on political stuff, so I'll be really careful how I say it. But,
no, we don't have to get into it. Just
the mandate for vaccination has meant that a lot of people have been either laid off or they have made themselves redundant one way or another.
Yeah,
and I actually looked at that as an opportunity to find employees, and then I found out that I can't employ anybody that's not vaccinated.
No way.
So strings were pulled above my head.
Wow. Now, does that have to do with and we don't have to get too far anymore into this, but does that have to do with the company that you subcontract for? Or is that the government?
Yeah, so the government ruled certain industries have to be vaccinated. So all employees or contractors in certain industries have to be vaccinated, but then it's up to the individual companies themselves to decide in some industries. And
wow.
That's where I've been affected, is because they have the choice.
Okay.
And they need to protect themselves.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
But that's made it a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see where that's an issue. That's crazy. I did not know that. Well, we'll move on from that. We don't want to get too much into politics on the show today. I just like hearing how it's affected. You're really the first person that I've gotten to personally talk to outside of America. So I wanted to see how it affected the labor and all that over on that side.
I know Australia has had a lot of attention from around the world because of the mandates and
I've seen all the
lockdowns,
protests in the streets and all that stuff, so that's what kind of got me thinking about it.
Yeah. The thing is that it's the minority that gets the attention in those cases. So we're at close to 95% vaccinated, so it's less than 5% of the people that have been making a lot of the noise.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I totally understand that. Well, moving on from that, like I said, we don't want to get into that too much. So I know that'll bore you really quickly. I've heard more COVID talk over the past 18 months than I could ever imagine. So
I can talk about it all day, but this is somewhere I'd rather talk about grass growing.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Help people in their businesses, and whether you're green industry, outside the green industry, it doesn't matter. But I just want to bring good value to all of you out there listening. So we are going to say green industry pretty much heavy today. And one other thing that I wanted to get into really quickly is, and we might expound on this because I would like to. I know we've had a conversation prior to this podcast about this, and your kind of integration in it in your business is battery powered versus gas powered. And I know you can talk about it for a little bit, so I'm going to kind of turn it over to you, and I want you to give everybody your take on battery powered. I know you just got a chance to demo the Mean Green mowers, so kind of take in a run with it and give everybody your personal rundown on battery powered.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been doing this for 11 and a half years, and I've been running battery-powered handheld gear for the last 3.5 years, and found the Husqvarna gear was the choice I went with there. And it was really a no-brainer for me. I looked at the maths and decided that by the time you buy a few batteries and a charger, the tools cost about the same. And if you've got 3 batteries for one person running solo, then you can get through a day comfortably on 3 batteries, and then you can recharge them either on the job if you've got the setup to charge on the job. Otherwise, you can get through 3 batteries recharged in the evening quite comfortably. So that was an easy decision. I did try a couple of different brands with battery at the time. It was only really between Husqvarna and Stihl. Now there's probably half a dozen to 10 different brands that you can buy.
Everybody's got one now. Yeah.
But I listened to Giulio Tomei. You'll know.
Lawn Care Business Success
podcast. He was the first one that introduced the idea to me, and kudos to him for starting the idea. And it got me thinking. The hedge trimmer was the tool he recommended that was worth looking at with battery powered. So that was the first tool I considered as well. I didn't buy the hedge trimmer first though. I figured if the hedge trimmer is worth getting, the one I need to get around is the whippersnipper, the weed whacker.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that was capable of doing what I do. And at that point in time, I had one person whippersnipping for 8 hours a day on one site. So I was like, that's going to test the battery powered gear. I was able to recharge the batteries on site. So I bought 2 batteries and a whippersnipper and a charger, and I tested it on that site. That whippersnipper lasted me 2.5 years before it failed, running that constant work.
That's insane. How long would one battery last you?
So when the batteries are new, and for doing regular maintenance whippersnipping, so we're talking where the grass isn't overgrown, then up to 2 hours use.
Okay, yeah.
As soon as you put a bit of load on them, or as the batteries get a bit older, you get down to about 1 hour use out of the batteries. But that's specifically talking the Husqvarna with the BLI 300 battery, and the 520 whippersnipper, the 520 ILX.
Okay, yeah. And battery powered has come a long way in the past couple of years, and it's going to go a long way in the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool to hear that you've already implemented the handheld equipment in your business. Let's talk about the Mean Green mowers a little bit. What do you think about it? What's your take on it? I saw you got to demo them.
I've done a lot of research for the last couple of years. I've been waiting for Mean Green to come into Australia, and they've only just come in the last couple of months. So I put my hand up for a demo before they were in the country.
Yeah.
And with the lockdowns, it made it a little bit hard to get the demo, but we just got that this week. So that was awesome to get it in. I'd already been watching Mean Green for a long time, and it was when they released their Vanquish and the one that I test rode, the sit down zero turn. They only just released as Mean Green was coming into Australia. And they're the models that I'm really interested in. So I looked at the run times. I'd looked at the power ratio. So you're talking with these models, a 60-inch mower that is comparable to a 37 horsepower petrol mower. So they're awesome power output. and 7.5 hour runtime. So that was impressive. And I did a lot of research about that. And it seems that they actually do get 7.5 hour runtime. I haven't done a demo for 7.5 hours to confirm that, but I do know that the battery only went down by 2% for the time I used it yesterday.
That's crazy. I'm so excited to see where they go in the future. And people hear 7 hours, 8 hour runtime. One thing that I had to remember when I first heard that, I was like, well, that's not that long. You're not mowing 7 or 8 hours a day. You're transferring in between jobs. It's on and off. Like the mower is not running mowing grass 8 hours a day. So 7.5 hours is not a bad runtime at all.
Yeah, look, I thought about that too, and shout out to Brian Fullerton because he talked about this recently as well.
Yeah, he did a whole podcast on it.
Yeah, it was a great podcast. Anyone should listen to that one. It's awesome. But he talked about in the US people doing 14-hour days, 12-hour days, and running out of battery life in that time. And I can understand his concern there because it's a real thing. You've got 7.5 hour runtime. You're not going to get through 14 hours of mowing.
Yeah.
But for the average person, like you say, the mower is on for half of that time. So if you did a 14-hour day, in theory, you should still be able to do all the mowing you need to do.
Yeah, in theory, and it does depend on what your business model is. I mean, if you're on huge 10-acre commercial properties all day, then yeah, your mower might be running for that long. But if you're running residential routes where you're on and off trimming and stuff, weed eating, you're on and off the mower, so it's not going to end up accounting to 7.5 or 8 hours a day.
The other thing to consider there with the battery is the charge time, and they are saying that it will take 8 hours to charge with one charger. They have 2 charge inputs on the mower, so you can plug 2 chargers in at once and you can get it down to a 4-hour charge time.
Yeah.
And Australia runs different voltage to the US. So we run 240 volt, which is comparable to a few guys that are on the 220 volt system.
Yeah.
So I would imagine with 240 volts, 10 amp power output on the charger, that's where we get the 8-hour charge or the 4-hour charge if you do 2 charges.
Yeah, I hear you. And I would definitely, if I was going to get one, I would definitely need to get it down to that 4-hour charge time. I would not want an 8-hour charge time.
Well, I like 8 hours sleep, so 8 hours is okay for me.
It's an excuse to make you start late the next day. That's good. I like that.
I don't start late, but I don't finish late either. I start about 7 o'clock in the morning and I finish up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good schedule right there. That's prime.
That works well for me. I'm happy with it. That's a
good schedule. And so it's just you and one guy, right?
Yeah, so I'm working on 2 commercial sites. I work on one site and the other guy works on the other site unsupervised. And I need to bring somebody on to replace him that can do the other site, which is about 20 hours a week, and help me out on the site I'm on. So they'd be doing 30 to 40 hours a week.
So you're saying you're on 2 sites. That's kind of an interesting topic there. Are you doing, and it's obviously a commercial building or commercial plant, warehouse, whatever it is. How big is the property that you're taking care of to be able to devote all of your time to 2 properties?
Yeah, so the one I'm working on is, I think, about 20 hectares.
Wow. That's a big property.
So keep in mind, the service I'm providing is grounds maintenance. So I'm not just mowing. It's mowing.
Yeah, you're doing everything.
Gardening. Yeah. So I do the mowing, I do the gardening. If the car park's got a lot of leaves, because we have these crazy things called gum trees, and the gum trees or eucalyptus trees, they drop a lot of leaves all year round.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm finding at the moment I need to get the backpack blower out and clean the car park when I get there in the morning, probably 2 or 3 days a week sometimes.
Wow.
I get to do all those kind of jobs.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's funny you say gardening. That is one thing. So I've started following quite a few people in Australia on social media, and gardening is a much bigger thing down there than it is here. Like the term gardening, like getting in the beds, making them look really nice. The shrubbery is insane. I've never seen. So there's a page on Instagram. I think it's Beecraft Landscaping. I don't know if you've ever seen them or not.
I don't follow them. Sorry,
but they're from. I'm 99% sure they're from Australia. Some of the bushes that they're trimming. I mean, and you can maybe account to this and see if it's true or not. They're like 20 to 25 feet tall, like up. I mean, they're huge shrubs. Do y'all have a lot of that near you?
Yeah, so that's quite common in Australia. I would say that there's, with what I'm doing, I'm not doing shrubs that are that tall.
Yeah.
I've got a few trees that I will do some pruning on. So when we're talking trees, then we get up around that tall. But most of the work I'm doing with gardening is either hedge trimming, hand weeding, or light pruning with secateurs. A little bit of work on the ground, sort of keeping the garden beds tidy. But I don't do the massive big shrubs like that.
Yeah. Hey, I wouldn't want to. I'm not signing up for them, but it's just cool to me how they keep it all very well manicured. They're all every video that I see, they're pristine. They're always nice and shaped up the right way. Just a lot sharper looking appearance than most of the shrubs here in the U.S.
Yeah, I think you'll find the UK is really big on having their shrubs like that. And if you find in Australia, it's probably down Melbourne or the Capital Territory, ACT, as we call it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Those spots have a lot more formal gardens.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's cool to hear that there's like just the differences, because that's just not, it is a thing in different parts of the country, because I know like Keith Kalfas, he trims those massive shrubs like that, but it's nothing that I would ever want to sign up for. So, man, that's cool hearing about your business. So you, like you're saying, you and one guy, you take care of 2 big properties. You're the groundskeepers. You do a full maintenance there. Do you do the like the fertilization and weed control as well, or do you sub that out?
Yeah, I do it all.
Okay, so you do all that as well.
With that, fertilization is included, and weed control is dependent on what they want. So that I'm not doing a massive weed control program. It's fairly minimal. But on the main site, they have a no chemical policy. So there's zero weed control other than hand weeding.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh man, that is tough. So you're pulling every weed by hand.
Yep.
Is that the site you're working, or your guys working?
That's me.
Oh man, so you're taking the tough one.
I've got a steam weeder I can use, and that's something that the company had in there already, so I've got access to it. That's a $14,000 tool if anybody wants to grab a hold of one of those. It's an expensive tool for weed spray.
$14,000. What does it do? So does it help you pull them?
Steam. So it heats up a water supply with diesel, and then you steam the weeds.
Okay. Steam. Okay, now I got what you're saying. Okay. That's cool. That's actually really...
My accent will get you every time.
Huh?
So my accent will get you every time.
Oh, yeah. No, and that's part on me. I should be able to understand you a little bit better, but it's just cool. It's cool hearing the difference in lingo. It's just it's just fun to me. I love hearing the difference.
That's good. It's quite funny. My wife lived in the South in the US for a few years. She lived not too far from you.
Yeah. Where did you say what state was she in?
Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah. That's literally like 2 hours from me. I thought you said it was Alabama.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
She gives us a good laugh talking about the accents down there and how hard it is to understand people.
How long was she here?
7 years.
So did she lose her Australian accent and get a Southern one, or did she stay Australian?
It definitely got affected by it.
Really?
But, so she was in her first marriage over there. I married her once that marriage ended and she came back to Australia.
Yeah.
And she had 2 kids over there. And so they had really strong Southern accents.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's no accent like it.
She had a lot of trouble understanding them and sort of getting used to the lingo down there.
Really? Yeah, and it's a different pace, too. It's just everything's different all over the country and all over the world. It's just so fun hearing all the differences. Well, tell me a little bit about the podcast, man. The Aussie Lawn Stars. Did I say it the right way?
Yeah, you got it right that time. That's great. So the podcast I just started up this year, and I think I started about 2 months after you did. So I'm up to 10 episodes. I'm doing one a week. So that gives you a bit of an idea. I've been doing 2.5 months now. And I looked at it, been listening to podcasts pretty much most of the time I've been doing lawn mowing, and I got sick of listening to Americans. No offense, but there was no Australian content for lawn care.
For sure.
So I thought, yep, it's been time. And I had surgery on my knee in August this year. And so when I had my surgery booked in, I said, right, that's the right time for me to start the podcast I've been thinking on for a while. I recorded 6 episodes whilst I was recovering off work. And that was when I started. And then it took me about a month before I actually published the first episode.
So you batch recorded and then did it. That's pretty cool. That's a good way to go about doing it.
Yeah, so now I try and make sure I've got about 4 or 5 episodes up my sleeve at any point in time, so that there's always something there to go.
That's good. That's good. I'm the worst about getting behind and not keeping a good backlog of them. But it's hard. Everybody's so busy right now. It's hard to get everybody on the same schedule.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking more and more as your side of the world slows down for winter, I should be doing more interviews with Americans because they've got all in the world, whilst I've got my busy summer season.
Yeah, it's your busiest time of the year, and you should start recording podcasts.
Yeah, one of the first things I did when I decided to record the podcast, I realised that it takes a lot of time to do the full production. So I talked to Marty, Mr. Producer, and I said, "Hey, can you do some of the background work for me? Make me sound awesome."
Yeah,
because I need help sounding awesome.
Well, he does a good job. He's the best. He's the best one there is.
Oh yeah. So every episode I do the recording, then I go through and mark it out, send it off to Marty. He does the production work in the background, sends me back the file, and then I post it when I post them on a Monday morning, 6 a.m. That's Australian time. So
yeah, it's always Sunday for us.
Yeah, it'll be Sunday. You get hold of that one.
Yeah, I love it. So what is the for anybody that's out there who hasn't heard of it or listened to any episodes yet? What is kind of the gist of the podcast? What are you trying to hit on? What is your goal in starting it?
So every episode so far has been an interview, and I've been interviewing other people who do the same thing that I do. So I pick somebody who is running a successful lawn care business in Australia and have a chat with them about what they've done, where they got their start, what they're up to at the moment, what they consider success. And then it depends on what they're into as to whether I take a deep dive into the equipment they use or the way they look over their bookwork to assess how their business is running. One of the things that I've found in Australia that probably differentiates us a little bit from you in the US, and it comes down to the wages again, is that there's a massive amount of Australian lawn care businesses that start up with the vision in mind of just taking them away from a job and into another job. So they're going, okay, I can create my own job by doing this. But because of the high wages here, I would say upwards of 70% of people who start a lawn care business can't get over the hurdle of employing people.
Wow. 70%. That's huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that fail, but the ones that actually succeed, I would say that there's only a small handful that actually go, yep, I don't just envision working for myself for the rest of my life. I actually envision running a business where I employ people and create teams.
Yeah. And there's a difference there. There's a difference in creating a company, a big business where you're employing people, or just being a sole operator. Just got to choose what you want.
Yeah. So what I've found since starting the podcast, it's been really interesting to highlight those differences, highlight people who have made this jump and worked out how to employ people, whether they've had to reassess. You hear people like yourself talking about this, knowing your numbers, knowing your worth.
Yeah.
So I think Kalfas is the one who uses the phrase knowing your worth.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely critical. I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and I've had people who are just starting their business or about to start their business contacting me saying, can you do something on starting a business? Can you do something on how to work out how to run a business? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I hear you. And that's what I'm finding. Most people, if they start a lawn care business, they are purely looking to pay themselves a wage. So if you're working off $25 an hour, that's what we would consider a cowboy, or chuck in the truck, as Paul Jameson calls him.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Yeah. And $25 an hour, they go out there thinking they're doing great, earning $25 an hour, but they don't realize they've got expenses.
Yeah, they think they're 25. They're not bringing home $25 an hour.
That's right. So once they work out they need to pay expenses, they start where I started. And I was 11 years ago, I was working off $50 an hour. And I thought that was great. And I was telling all my family and all my friends, this is awesome. I can earn $50 an hour. And then I did the maths, and getting to know my numbers, I worked out that out of the $50 an hour, I was losing about half of that in expenses.
Yeah.
Which is probably fair for somebody solo running a lawn care business. You're about half and half with expenses and profit. And then you work out the unpaid hours or the unbillable hours. Mm-hmm. And I worked out by the time I split that $25 profit across my a whole lot of the hours that I'm working during the week, I was working for about $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I had a little cry, and then I moved on. And since then, I've worked out, and I've heard a number of people say this. So shout out to, sorry about that, Andy. I can't remember his last name. He does a podcast as well. Landscape Business, not Lands. Is it Landscape Business?
Andy, is that what you said? Oh, Mike Andes.
Mike Andes. That's him. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll give him a shout out. He did a sum that I listened to where he talked about how much you need to be able to earn to pay wages.
Yeah.
And so if you've got an employee, you need to be doing 2.5 to 3 times the cost of the wages in a lawn care business to be able to pay for equipment and insurance and admin staff, all those sorts of things. So when you're moving from solo to running teams, you've got to have that goal of going, okay, if I'm paying $25 to $30 an hour in wages, I need to charge $75 to $90 per hour.
And that's what that employee should be producing for you. That's the thing.
That's right. Yes. So that's an hourly rate. Of course, we don't want to always talk to customers about an hourly rate, but that gives us a way of assessing how we quote.
Yeah.
So that's a transition I had to go through in my business, and I look at how other people in my podcast where I'm interviewing, how they have worked through those issues, how they've assessed it themselves. And one of the podcast episodes I did was with James Nankervis. That's worth a listen. He talked about doing the same sort of thing, cutting the billing rate up into 3 pieces. He likens it to a pizza. He says you got 3 slices of your pizza. One goes to pay wages, one goes to pay expenses, and another one to future-proof your business for buying new equipment and bits and pieces.
Yeah, that's good. That's good information. I haven't gotten to listen to that one yet, but I'm definitely going to check that one out because that's a good analogy.
And James started working as a school kid, so he's got a lot of attention because he's one of those guys who's been highly motivated, but he's also got a highly motivated father that's helped him work through those numbers. So kudos to both of them for what they've done in that business.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're taking the podcast. You want to help people in Australia. That's a big thing. And I mean, it's a worldwide podcast. Anybody can listen, but you wanted to be the voice of Australia is what it sounds like.
Well, all of the Australians were saying the same thing. There's a Facebook group in Australia called LMCA, that's Lawn Mowing Contractors Australia. And big shout out to them. It's an awesome group, over 3,000 people in there that are doing the same thing as I'm doing in Australia. And they have all been saying the same thing. We don't have Australian content.
I could definitely see why that would be an issue because everything's different for y'all. Like you need somebody to talk about the stuff that y'all go through personally.
Yep. So if you listen to my intro, you'll hear me talk about that. We've got Australian grasses, height of cut. That's another topic we can talk about. You guys cut somewhere around 4 inches high. We cut about 2 inches high.
Yeah. So see, now that's what I was talking about the weekly and bi-weekly earlier is now where we are in Alabama, we actually cut between 2 inches and 3 inches most of the time. We actually cut
similar to Australia then.
Yeah, we cut shorter down here. Now, up north, they're cutting 4.5 to 5 inches all the time.
Yeah, so when you're cutting, say, around the 2 inches high, you're dealing with what worldwide is probably recognised as sports turf rather than residential lawns that you would consider up in the north.
Yeah. It's just we have Bermuda grass. That's what we have down here in the south. And so that's the stuff that we normally cut lower.
Yeah, so we've got a few different grass names here that I can't tell you exactly what they line up with, but we've got kikuyu, which I think is similar to your centipede.
Yeah, I've heard that. We
got buffalo. And okay. I think that might be similar to Bermuda, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then we have blue couch, which is similar to zoysia.
Okay,
We've imported zoysia recently, so there's a lot of places locally now that are installing zoysia.
Zoysia is awesome. We love Zoysia. That's my favorite yard.
Yeah, I like it, but I haven't done much work with it yet because it's only very new on the market here.
Yeah, well, it would if you're ever. Do you know? Is it Emerald Zoysia or is it Z52? Do you know the name of it? What kind it is?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, there's different. We have different kinds. We have Z52 and Emerald down here in the south. Most is what we see, and they're both good. It just depends on. Literally, the only difference is the thickness of the blade of grass, but it's a cool turf. I love mowing zoysia.
There's a couple of large turf companies in Australia that have been trying to patent a lot of the grass types. So one of them is responsible for bringing zoysia in, and I think they were trying to make sure they had a patent before they actually released it to the public. So
Okay.
some of those names probably going to be hidden.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, are there any like big nationwide maintenance companies in the green industry? Because like here we have a couple that are like nationwide. Everybody knows who they are. Do y'all have those down there?
Yeah, we've got a couple of them. Programmed is one of the big ones, and they offer a nationwide maintenance. So they don't just do grounds maintenance or lawn care. They do painting, they do building work, they do everything. And there's a couple of them around, but Programmed is one of the bigger ones that I know of.
Okay, cool. I was curious as to what that field looked like. Was there a big company?
The other one, really interesting one that you would have heard of, the franchise models. So I don't think you do a lot of franchise models in the US, but I've heard one or two guys like Mike Andes was talking about franchising his
Yeah,
model.
he does.
But everybody would have heard of Jim's Mowing. And Jim's Mowing is a nationwide franchise. They take a massive amount of work, and they have spread from doing just mowing franchises to doing franchises for every trade you can think of.
Oh, wow.
And I did an interview with Jim Penman. That's the Jim for Jim's Mowing. So he's the man with the face on the side of the trailer. That's another episode that was really interesting because he's been in the game since 1970s.
He's got some history behind him then.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot of mowing these days. He mows his own yard with a battery-powered mower.
Really?
But he's not on the tools these days. He's sitting back running his massive empire.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, man, we're coming up on 45 minutes here. It's been a super fun episode. Is there anything that you want to leave our guests with? Any words of advice, tips, or anything like that?
I don't know about tips, but yeah, I think looking at what I've been doing with the podcast, that's the one thing that really stands out for me is I've been able to help people.
Yeah.
Through my podcast by helping people understand the difference between running a business and struggling to make ends meet. I would encourage anyone who's considering getting into lawn mowing or anybody who's just started out to talk to somebody like yourself, somebody like myself, somebody like Paul Jameson, Brian Fullerton, people who've been in the industry for 10 years plus who can really help you break down the numbers, work out what your worth is so that when you're running a business, you're actually already making sure that the profit margin is there.
For sure. And there's so much free content out there now between podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff that you should be self-teaching and learning from those out there in the industry. But well, that's cool, man. Well, I have one final question that we always ask all of our guests here. And if you listen to some episodes, you might have heard it, but if not, I don't know. It's gonna hit you. But excuse me.
I've listened to most of your episodes, so I'll let you say the question there.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you know what's coming. We actually had another guy that said that. So, what is your why? What is your why and why you run your business?
Look, that's an interesting question, and it's changed over time. So when I first started running the business, I did it because I didn't like my job, and I did it because I had a newborn child that was 1 year old, and I wanted to be able to stay home and do the daddy daycare thing. So I wanted to look after her when my wife went back to work, and we shared the load. So that was the number one reason why I started the business 11 and a half years ago. Now that's changed because she's 12 years old. So I look at it now and I go, okay, my why is number one, it's about providing for my family and providing a lifestyle. So that's why I've mentioned earlier, I am home by 2:00 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon every day, 5 days a week. And on Fridays, I'm normally home earlier than that.
So that family time is huge. What time does the daughter go to school?
In Australia, we start school about 9 a.m. in the morning. So a little bit later in the morning than the US. I think you guys start about 7:30, right?
Yeah, 7:30, 8. Just depends.
Yeah. But keep in mind, I've got 4 kids between my wife's first marriage and my first marriage and our marriage. We've got 4 kids. Now, my stepson, Braden, is the same age as you. He just turned 22 last week.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're pretty close then. I turn 22 next week, so we're really close in age then.
Awesome. Yeah, so I've got 22-year-old and a 19 or 20-year-old, and then I've got an 18-year-old and a 12-year-old. So spending time with the family is really important, but also making sure I'm running a successful business so that it's going to be around to look after us for a little while longer.
That's right. That's right. But that's cool. I love hearing everybody's why, and family time is what's important. I mean, that's what you come home to every day. Those are the ones. Those are your loved ones, the ones you care about the most. So you gotta be able to provide for them.
Yeah, they are important.
Absolutely. Well, man, I love it. It's been a super fun episode. It's cool getting to hear your side of things from the other side of the world, literally. It's cool how technology has brought us to this point where we can sit here and talk. You are literally in the next day, and I'm sitting here talking to you. It's really cool. But
it's Thursday afternoon here, and I'm winding down after this, getting ready for dinner. And tomorrow morning, I'll do another interview before I go to work.
I hear you.
The end of the week tomorrow.
What was that?
And it's the end of the week tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yes, man, you're lucky. It's Friday for you. We still got to go through Thursday.
You're on hump day.
Yeah. Right now we are. Yep.
Yeah.
Right now we are. Well, it's been super fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Go follow Gary and his podcast, Aussie Lawn Stars. It's a really, really cool podcast out there, and he's just always bringing value. That's his goal. His goal is to bring value, especially to the Australian market, but it applies to anybody out there who's listening. And I hope that you go give him a follow. Check him out on Instagram. Where can we find you on social media, Gary?
So you can find me on social media. I've got Lawns Online on Instagram, and I've got Aussie Lawn Stars on Instagram. So that's the two places that's easiest to find me. If you are in Australia, then look up LMCA on Facebook. That's the Lawn Mowing Contractors Australia Facebook group, and that's a great place to really build on those skills that I talk about in the podcast. And you've got 3,000 plus people there that help you. They're all, you get people that will create a nuisance on Facebook from time to time, but the majority of those 3,000 people are interested in helping you succeed.
That's awesome. Well, maybe somebody will listen, because I know we do have some listeners down in Australia. So hopefully whoever's hearing this will go check that out, check that group out, maybe connect with you down there.
It's a good group.
It is, I believe it. I believe it. It's cool. Always, you can never have too much networking. Social media is a powerful thing, and I love that it makes y'all be able to connect like that from all over the country. So, very special thing.
Thanks for having me, Jeremiah. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, taking time out of your day to come on here and do a quick show. So that's going to wrap this one up.
You owe me next time. You owe me an interview on my podcast now.
We're going to be there. Yeah, let's set it up. I'm losing my voice. My goodness, this sinus thing's killing me. But we're definitely going to get that scheduled, and I can't wait to get on your show and create another banger of an episode. Just bring out some. We'll bring the South to the land down under, the U.S. South.
I'd like to do another episode on your show too. I think we've got a few more things we could delve into then.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely link back up and get another one and kind of dive into some more things here in the future. But anyway, guys, thank you all for listening to the show today. If you would, leave us those ratings and reviews. You can find us on Instagram at Growing Green Landscapes. Our email will be in the show notes. If you ever need us, reach out. We'd love to help you with any questions. We are taking on show sponsors right now. We have a few people coming on board. I'm excited to start these partnerships with everybody and just kind of bring products to you and help you out, and maybe it'll bring something of value to your business. So if you are looking to get a product or a service out there, let me know. We can definitely hook up and link up and partner together and just help everybody out. That's what we're here for, is to be one big community who's looking to help each other out in the long run. So thanks again for tuning in today. If you would, leave us those ratings and reviews. Help us boost in the rankings and just get out there to more people so we can grow this community one relationship at a time. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll catch up with y'all here on the next episode.